All right, good morning. Hope you're all having a great start to your day. Today's Thursday, July 8th, 2021. We'll go ahead and get started, touch up on the overall market, go over some economic data, and get right into our favorite main watch list. So I hope you guys are starting your day right. If you're watching /ES right now, we actually had some contract highs develop towards the close. We did see some cross currents from the small caps signaling some weakness and some caution at the close. And we did see the European session overnight actually start selling off into a sharp liquidation. We saw the Asian sessions actually unchanged as well, ending lower towards the Australian ASX 200, which gained about 0.20%. And watching this morning initial jobless claims, again, we did actually have higher numbers coming in on the jobless claims. I sent it to you guys in the trading floor. 373K expectations was 350. Okay, so again, not the best jobless claims report. It's negative. Now, let's get a little bit into basics. If you guys have been seeing the market, there is some gap downs on some big names. But again, when something like this happens and there's a lot of uncertainty, we start waiting for more directional plays. Usually there might be a bounce on the market, specifically seeing most things have a gap down. We're not biased, so we'll be watching order flow. We'll be watching our tape on the names that are mentioned on the stock on the watch list into this morning. Let me send you guys what we're watching in the catalyst. But before we get into our watch list, let's touch up on /ES first. 4305, 4310 range is very, very critical. If you guys are watching right now, we're seeing some weakness. If you're watching /ES at that 4290, we actually started rejecting the whole number at 4305 and 4300. And we're actually 10 handles under. So this is showcasing some weakness on the broad market. Now, I need directional moves. So if you're watching /ES, very, very critical to wait on either a break over that 4305. And then if we start building from 4305, I'll start watching 5 handles over to 4310. And from there, if we can actually close over that 4310 again, we'll start revisiting that 4320 and 4330. Now, we're not biased on the market, so we understand if we do come to that range and we start rejecting 4305 and 4310, downside is there, okay? Downside prevails if you're watching /ES, especially on the weakness right now that we broke 15 handles under that primary neckline or primary resistance. So take your time if you're watching the market. 4310, if we break that to the upside, I'll start watching the moment we step into 4305. But 4310, that's really where I'm looking at for directional move. And if /ES can take out 4310, we'll start watching for that 4350. All right, so almost 40 handle range to distribute back. If you go to the PDC previous day close, you'll see it's about 4353. So we do have a 40-point range back to the upside, if not 50 point back to the upside. All right, so that's in regards to /ES. If we start breaking to the downside, we're not biased again. Under 4280, take it to 4265. And again, if you're trading SPY on the side, again, sometimes watching /ES, a lot of people capitalize on these levels. So take your time if you're watching SPY as well. If you want to trade it, just wait for that 430 break. All right, 430 break has to break and hold. If you could close 430 on SPY, you can range back to 430, 450, or 435 range. If you can't close that level, we're not biased. We'll start coming down and breaking under that 428. We'll go back to 427 and 426. All right, so that's in regards to SPY. Now, let's get a little bit more in depth regarding our watch list. I'll send you guys what we're watching into this morning. All right. Now, Beyond Meat does have a good catalyst. So let me send you guys the levels first, and then I'll send you the news. If you saw it, it came through the Quant news this morning. They're actually releasing into 400 location their chicken tenders. Now, this is a move that their CEO has been talking about prior, and that's something that we've been seeing. They've been actually hyping up people for about 2 to 3 days. The CEO also tweeted about this. Now, seeing the piece of news rolled out, we know Beyond trades off of momentum, and seeing already where it is, you guys can see 136 is the primary support. If it breaks 136, I'm not biased. I'm not going to go take longs because we have a piece of news that could potentially be a bullish catalyst. We know it trades off of news. We've seen it actually have news with Dunkin' Donuts prior and KFC and whatnot. And we've seen that actually, we've seen Beyond react to news, especially on momentum to the upside. Now, bounce at 136, critical. If it holds 136, that's ideal entry for this. And if it breaks to the downside, we'll start watching 2 ways to go about this. You could trade the range between 136 and 133.50. or you could wait for entry upon the breakdown to 133.50. If it bounces 133.50, that could be a very good potential bounce trade, and then it will retest back to the upside of that 136 as a new resistance and back to 138.50 and 140. So that's in a sense, if it does break under that 136 level, it does have about 2 points and 2.50 cents here to the downside. And if it doesn't break to the downside at 136, watch for that bounce level, very critical, 30 cents from here. We can start looking for more upside. And again, we'll be watching the broad market. Most of the market starts bouncing as well. So very critical on that, all right? So take your time if you are going to trade some beyond. And again, it's very, very important to not overtrade, specifically on days like today. Very, very important to not overtrade. There is a lot of uncertainty going on in the market, and that's something that's very critical. All right, so let's move on a little bit. Now, let's get into some Tesla. If you're watching Tesla into this morning, that would be my second watch. And I'm actually watching less, so I'm not going to be watching a lot into this morning. I'm just watching Tesla and beyond, especially that I'm going to be trading some momentum, and I'm not biased on either move. So if you're watching Tesla, notice the distribution range between that 621 and 636. Give or take, there's almost like about 15 points between that support and resistance. That distribution range, again, take your time if you're going to trade it. Very, very tricky part is the break over that 636. All right, so there's two ways to go about this. The break over 631, a 4-point scalp or a 5-point scalp to 636. But I want to see the strength. I want to see how we bounce that 621. So ideal entry on Tesla, let it break down. If it breaks under that 624 pre-market, at 624.84. I want to see a retest under. If it actually comes to 624 tests, ideal entry will be at that 621 range. But I'm not biased on Tesla. If it starts breaking down under that 621, there will be some weakness on Tesla. So take your time on it. And again, seeing some piece of news rolled out this morning, not a huge catalyst, but Germany is fining Tesla because of construction reasons. So that's not the biggest piece of news, but something to consider as well. And we're not going to be biased on this, right? So 636, as you guys can see, let me just add this for you here. I'll just edit this again because I put the 636 as the first level. That's actually the second level for resistance. So again, break and hold over 631 has room to 636. That's a 5-point scalp. You could see if it pushes to 631 and doesn't break, I'm not biased on this. I want to see that rejection actually. If it does reject, then I'll start watching the downside. Let it retest that pre-market low at 624.84. If it can't hold that, I'll start watching a bounce trade at 621. And if it doesn't hold 621, that's going to be my short level. So I'll start taking on the breakdown under 621 to 617. Play the range to 613, and you guys can see with continued weakness, it's going to go back to our favorite level, 605. This is actually the same range or prior key levels that we have traded on Tesla. So it's not something new we're seeing on Tesla. So if it presents itself, please do execute on it. And again, consider triple R risk-reward ratio at all times. Gets a little tricky with uncertainty and, again, economic data rolled out like today. So it's very, very critical to not overtrade. And again, keep in mind that this was a short week, all right? So hope you guys are going to have a great day and hope you guys are starting your day right. I'll start watching again Tesla and Beyond at the open. Beyond, again, not biased on the chicken tender news. If it does have upside, I'll watch it. But again, 136 has to hold. If it doesn't hold 136, the downside you guys can see will push back to 133.50. That is ideal entry for a bounce trade. But if it doesn't hold 133.50, then the downside, I'll mention it for you guys as well in the room. But again, we're going to watch these bounce levels on Beyond. Now, Tesla's the one, if it breaks down, take your time on it because we can see the huge range between 621 and 631. And potentially, if it breaks out of 631 to 636. Okay, so it's in a range right now. Again, directional moves take your time. And if you want to wait, again, you'll get more direction second half of the day. This is also something for the new traders. You don't want to overtrade momentum at the open, especially seeing /ES. Really 10 handles under primary resistance. So it's really at a critical level. All right. So hope you guys have a great day. And again, cash is a position in days like this. If you don't see ideal entries or you don't see high probability setups, always ideal to sit out, right? Always ideal to sit out, watch trades develop, practice tape reading, times and sales, and again, get familiar with the new order flow filtration. And hope you guys have a great day. If you guys need me, DM me. Let's make some money, team. In and out, guys.